Hi, it's Shadow Witch, and welcome to my circle. I'm going to be fitting in a couple of short ones. Today, on the magical theme, we're going to be talking about the word coven. I know it is a witchy sounding word. People are always looking to belong to one, and I don't know, it just seems to have a lot of, it's a provocative kind of term. Well, I don't personally use the word coven at all. I have been teaching the history of the witch, history of magic, history of witchcraft for, actually, I think this is 20 years that I started at our local state community college, and 20 years ago. Now, the history that I teach is I try to get as accurate as possible, the etymology, the origin of words, and archaeological findings, and I don't just regurgitate other authors' work. I try to go to as close to the source as I can. And the term coven, interestingly enough, was given to the witch by the witch hunters. They came up with the term. It's kind of a shortened word from covenant, and they would talk about the witches had a covenant with Satan, with the devil, doing evil things. They'd meet up in the woods and they'd have some kind of weird ritualistic kind of stuff, and they were in league with Satan and the devil, and harming children and animals and people, and doing all these evil things. And coven became like a shortened version of that covenant. There's also, you have the convent where the nuns would be. It's the same concept of a group or gathering of women, but where a convent is religious, pious Christian women. A coven was almost the exact opposite of evil, in league with the devil, Satan. That's not who we are. That's not who we ever were. It's really an offensive, hateful, horrible term that I just don't like, because I have to know, it's something about me. I have to know as much about the origin of things as possible. I want to know the origin of the food I eat. I want to know, where everything I sell at my store comes from. I want to know the artists. I want to know where things were manufactured, how they were manufactured. I like that kind of stuff. I guess that makes me a witchy geek or something, but it's really interesting to find out where things come from. And so that's why I'm so heavy into history and the history of the witch. So coven, I don't find it to be a fun term. I don't find it to be a witchy term, a magical term. I find it to be a very hateful term. A lot of terms were given to us by the witch hunters. So instead, I call groups of witches or magical people, like, what I have here, a tribe. We all come from tribal people, and the first magical practices were all tribal. Back when we were even back in the caves, some people call them families. There are many of us, real honest to goodness witches that use the term coven. And if it works for you and you're good with it, great. It's just, I think it's important, understand where the term comes from, understand the definition of where it comes from. And if you're good with using it, then rock on. That's great. I mean, at least in this country, you can use whatever term you want. I mean, that's your right, and I respect that. But this is why I don't use the term myself. I really think of myself as a traditional witch, going back and practicing things long before Christianity was even a concept. So Christian concepts that were morphed to blacken us, they don't really find a place in my practice. So anyway, those are my ideas. Those are my thoughts about the word coven. And if you have a tribe or a family or a group of people, there are no rules. You can call it whatever you want. As long as it makes sense to you and it feels good for you, then it's going to work. So anyway, this has been Shadow Witch. Thanks for visiting my circle, and I hope to see you next time. Only cool cats and kittens allowed. Take care.